Some of those in the knife community think that inexpensive or cheap means that a knife isn't going to be the best of quality. Good news, that couldn't be further from the truth. Some inexpensive blades have incredible attention to detail. Below is a list of what I believe are the best budget folding knives to date. All of these knives are below $50 as of June 3, 2017. At the first position of our list, we have Kershaw Cryo. The Kershaw Cryo was the talk of the town in the knife community when it first came out, and for good reason. With a low price and quality construction, this knife has quite the reputation. The Kershaw Cryo is an assisted knife, meaning that when you press on the back flipper, a spring will assist the knife into the locking position. The only real drawback to the Cryo is that the blade steel is a little soft. The Cryo sports a 2.75-inch EK30 stainless steel blade. However, this opening and closing the knife is as smooth as butter. If you have never used a SpeedSafe knife by Kershaw before, then you have seriously been missing out. Moving on to the next at number 2 with CRKT Tighe Rad. The Tighe Rad is a fully functional edge blade with a dual blade grind. While this knife is a little difficult to sharpen, it feels amazing in my hand. The ergonomics of the handle make this knife great. The blade shape and grind are a good look, but until you have actually had this knife in your hands, then you have no idea what you're missing out on. The number 3 position is held by Bantam BHW. The Bantam BHW by Buck Knives is one of the first knives that I have ever bought. The reason that I love the BHW version of the Bantam series is because of the big 3.5-inch stainless steel blade that it sports. The contoured injection molded textured handle gives you a tight grip even when the knife is wet. Next at number 4 we have Kershaw Skyline. The Skyline is one of Kershaw's top-selling knives, and for good reason. For a budget knife that is made in the USA, it boasts a 1428-inch stainless steel blade that can take a beating. Also, the Skyline is extremely thin. I don't even know that I had it in my pocket half the time. This knife is the ultimate folding food preparation knife. It is also quite useful for camping. The number 5 position is held by Victorinox Cadet. You can't have a list of best budget egg knives without at least one Swiss Army knife. There are tons of models in many sizes with different combinations of tools. But the Victorinox Cadet has found its way into the pockets of millions of knife nuts around the world for good reason. This inexpensive multi-tool features everything you need for daily life and nothing more. The primary tools of the 80-form Cadet are a large blade, bottle opener, can opener, and nail file. In these primary tools are 2 screwdrivers, a wire stripper, and a nail cleaner. There's also the typical key ring. What really sets this model apart from some of the other Swiss Army knives is the handsome texture to locks handles. Not only does it feel great, but it looks great too. It's no surprise this multi-tool is so renowned by hardcore knife enthusiasts. The number 6 position is dominated by CRKT M42. Think you can't get a good assisted opening egg on a budget? Then you haven't seen the CRKT M42. Designed by the legendary Kit Carson, the M42 has a 3.25-inch drop point blade made of EK30 stainless steel. This handsome knife is far from intimidating if you whip it out in public to cut some thread off your clothing, making it a great tool to carry anywhere. Despite being a looker, the knife is also a performer. Using a lightning-fast outburst opening mechanism, the blade springs forth when you apply enough pressure on the ambidextrous thumb studs to ensure the knife stays open when you're using it on tough jobs. The M42 uses the locks mechanism, which adds extra security. The last thing you want in an egg is a knife that can fail. Moving on to the next at number 7 with Kershaw Chill. Slim, sleek, reliable, durable, made in the USA. Having just one of these qualities usually makes for a solid edge, but the Kershaw Chill comprises every single one of these attributes. The Chill has a built-in flipper that easily engages the 3.1-inch EK30 blasted blade. The blade, and the knife in general, is quite slender. Factor in the 2 ounce weight of the knife and the Chill disappears in your pocket, which is something most people look for in an edge. Designed by respected custom knife maker R.J. Martin, the Chill has a relatively bare-bones design. That's not a knock on the knife. In fact, this means that there's less chance for failure due to dirt or wear. The number 8 position is held by Becker Necker. The knives featured on this list so far have all been folders, but some people are looking for a fixed blade with a little more heft and durability. For those folks, there's the Becker Necker, designed by the unequaled Ethan Becker. The B-Kelvin is a hard-working tool that doesn't mess around. Normally, a good egg is a knife that's compact and fits in the pocket. While this knife doesn't fold up neatly, it is quite compact. The blade is only 3.25 inches long and the whole thing is only 6.75 inches. Using a black hard plastic sheath, the Becker Necker easily mounts to a belt, boot, or tactical vest, so it's more convenient than you might think. For being under our budget, this made in the USA knife doesn't skimp on quality materials. For example, The whole knife is made from 1095 Crovan steel. Since there are no handle scales, you can make your own paracord handle if you desire. Next, at number 9, we have CRKT Ripple. We couldn't make a list of best egg knives without the inclusion of a knife by the venerable Ken Onion. Most of his knives are on the higher end of our budget, so we opted for the exceptional CRKT Ripple. The Ripple, with its flowing and contemporary design, was Ken Onion's first for CRKT after spending more than a dozen award-winning years at Kershaw. Onion and CRKT ended up making a more budget-friendly version of the Ripple with a smaller blade and aluminum handle scales. That's the one on our list. The blade engages with the flipper and uses the innovative X ball bearing opening system to deploy with a smoothness and rapidity like few others. Finally, the number 10 position is dominated by Smith & Wesson SWFR2's Extreme Ops, a knife from Smith & Wesson. You may be wondering, absolutely, when you need an inexpensive knife that can take a beating like no one's business, Smith & Wesson is your man or brand. At Knife Depot, Smith & Wesson knives are best sellers for two major reasons: they are cheap and dependable. We could have picked any number of these beaner knives. A beaner knife is one that is so inexpensive you don't mind using the hell out of it for pretty much anything. But we settled on the Smith & Wesson SWFR2's Extreme Ops Tanto. The folder has a 3.3-inch partially serrated blade with a modified tanto point. The partial serrations give it some additional functionality, while the modified tanto point is optimal for piercing and other tasks. This liner locking knife also has some extra features in the textured aluminum handle you might want on a good edge, including a glass breaker and seatbelt cutter. That's all for today. We upload budget-friendly product review videos every single day, so don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for the upcoming video notification.